Hi everyone, welcome to Chunky Junkies, Minis and More. My name is Janice Freeman, and this is a forest lore that junk journal that I did. It was, I think, this may have been, it was my first, I guess, major stab at doing a junk journal. So there's definitely a lot of room for improvement in it, but it's not quite finished. It's almost there, but I was going to do a whole bunch more, but I think I'm going to be happy with it the way it is, or somewhat happy with it the way it is. So on the cover, I just put a little scroll. And then what it says here is, to enter a forest is to find a solitude and quietude that cannot be found elsewhere. It is a place where your problems can subside and healing can begin. It is also a place where secrets are told to those that know how to listen. And for those that listen, they can find a balance in life that centers them to their very core. So take a walk into the forest and marvel at all that it has to offer. Your inner peace will be waiting. So that's just a little, it's not something I found, it's something I wrote, but I just thought it was kind of cute. It's how I feel, I guess, when I go into a forest. And we live up against what they call the green zone, which means although we're on a farm, everything west of us we're into all crown land, and it's all forest all the way to the mountains. So that's, I guess, we bought the place because of, one of the reasons was because of its location to the forest. Okay, so there's a lot going on. I tried my hand at I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it correctly, marquetry, I think it's called, where they do wood inlaying with really thin sheets of veneer. So throughout the book, I've taken pieces of wood veneer, actual wood veneer, and use it as a decorating element in the book. There's some correlated cardboard, just this image that I found on Pinterest. And again, most of the images in here were things I found on Pinterest. And then there's just different laces and materials I wrapped on muslin for the spine, and then I just dangled different little beads and whatnot from it. And the back is just plain. I might have to, hopefully I'm zoomed enough that you can get it all without it being too big. So I just used sari silk for the tie. Okay. It's been a while since I've gone through this, so. Okay. Oh, I don't know why that's in there. I guess to write on, but it's just a blank piece of coffee stain paper and an envelope. This page there's tracing paper that what did I do with that? Oh, I used Distress inks on this tracing paper, and then I cut out the shape of leaves through the coffee dyed paper and sewed around them in the shape of a leaf, just really jaggedy. Now, I can't remember if this was, I really honestly can't remember if this is something Jibid Neary, I believe her name is. I might have got the inspiration from her for this. Yeah. Just an image I found on Pinterest. It's the same thing, this is just an image, and then I shouldn't say a lot, some of this you'll notice it seems like it's not finished, and it is. It's been paper clipped to it because I was still going to do some work in it. So you'll see a bit of that, but you know what, it may never get done, and I wanted to do a walkthrough, so I thought, well, it's going to be a walkthrough of a book that's not quite complete, but it's close. And then this was just a piece of material fabric. I had one of those books that have upholstery samples in them. And when I flipped through, it's just, I don't even know where I got it. I think a friend of mine had gifted it to me. And when I flipped through, I found this one with the leaves, so I put it in here. This is another little quote that I put, made up and put in there, but it says a place where forest lore is a place where realism and fantasy collide under the canopy of the leaves, where all manner of creatures, big and small, thrive and flourish in an otherworldly coexistence, a place for dreams and imagination to run wild and free. And then I got a bunch of silk flowers and lace, and I just clustered them together and then used that as a lot of decorating elements to the book. The Brian Froud, I've got a few of his pictures in here. I just love his artwork. So, and then I think this was, there's a lot of quotes in here from Mrs. Coggs. And there might be a few things in here from Bohemian Crafting as well. So there's a pocket there. That's another Brian Froud, I think. And then this flips open, and just another image I found. I had a friend write, and she does calligraphy, so I had her write a little blurb on there. And there's another piece of, this is a piece of that wood laminate, and then I collaged on it with silk leaves and twine and string, and a little slide. This idea I got from, or this idea was from Bohemian Crafting. There was a lot of, I just looked up forest lore quotes or things about forest too. So I found a lot of those images off Pinterest as well, with actual quotes and whatnot. Just a bit of ephemera. I'm not sure. I've got a large ephemera file, and I don't know. I bought on all kinds of places off of Pinterest, Etsy, for my ephemera pieces. So I really don't know which one's which anymore. I didn't realize how important that was when I was starting out to track everything. So I apologize for that. This is another piece of, this one's actually walnut, of that laminate veneer. And then I got little pieces of moss here too. This is real moss that it was still relatively moist when I squished it down. I don't remember how I squished it, but it's flat to the feel, but it's still got a little bit of depth to it. But anyway, it's the real moss, and I just put a book on it or something, and it squished it down. I let it dry out that way, so now it's hard, but that's what it is. This webbing here is drywall web tape. It's sticky backed on one side, so I like to put it in my journals quite often. And there's some little tags hanging off the side as well, or little beads. This is, got this idea from Betty Culkin. She'll print a nice big image on vellum, and man, I just love that look. So I do it in just about all of my albums now too. So, or pardon me, in all, well, I guess I do some of that in my albums, mini albums, as well as my junk journals. Again, this was a Betty Culkin's idea, and it was just a little message in a bottle. And then I've got it tucked into some lace on the side here. And then there's a bead hanging from that. This is some eco-dyed paper. There was another image back there that I got off Etsy. And again, I wasn't keeping track, but it was one I had purchased off Etsy. If anybody recognizes, maybe put a little note, like if you know whose it is, because again, I wasn't tracking it. This down here is another type of moss that was growing in the forest there when I was walking through. It was on a dead log, so I just picked it off and then set a book on it so it could dry out a little flatter, and that turned out pretty neat. So I put that with some silk leaves. I love doing a picture on picture of the same picture, one in the large and the large and the small, they're exact same image, and I just absolutely love this look. I don't know where I saw it or if I come up with it. I really don't remember, but again, that's something I like to do fairly often. And that's just a big feather I had. No, this is a collage of mushrooms that, again, this is, like I said, it's not 100% completed yet, so. One day. This is the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe. This picture of the Raven, I don't remember where I got it. It was on Pinterest again, too, but I can't remember if that was part of Edgar, if I saw it from an Edgar Allan Poe picture or what, but I just love that picture. So I just did some fussy cutting around it and stuck them down on some coffee dyed paper and then did a bit of distressing. I should mention this journal is full page, 8.5. They're 8.5 by 11. And then, I don't know if you can see, but I just took a strip, 1.5 inch, or is it 2 inch? I think it's I think it's 2 inch. 2 inch pieces of coffee dyed paper, scored them down the middle, and then I would attach the pages to that so that I had that way to connect the two together to make the signatures. And this book, I believe, it has 3 signatures. So that was the end of the first signature. Another one of those from Bohemian Crafting. And here is an envelope. A little tuck spot there. And this is actual material. This is some green material that I saw in one of our fabric stores. And I just thought that would look kind of nice in a book. And then I backed it to this piece of paper, but you can also back it to a piece of coffee dyed paper for journaling. There's that eco paper again, or from Etsy, an image of it. This ripped and torn alike, and then again it's got a, I think, oh, I must have, yeah, I did. I glued something to the back of it. I don't, did I? Yeah. Anyway, that look, this is again tracing paper that I had used Distress inks on to discolor it. And then I ripped this and sewed it. This idea is definitely Jibid Neary's. I got that from her. I just added some stenciling and a little quote from Mrs. Coggs. And then this is an envelope. And this is a big envelope in here, just with some ephemera. This come out of an old encyclopedia book, different types of deciduous trees. This says rules for walking in the woods. So that was appropriate. And I think this was a Brian Frode as well. I looked up different words, and then if they were related to the woods or forests or whatnot, I printed them out. I thought they were a lot of words I'd never heard of before, but now I know. And this is that moss again. This here piece is, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a piece. This is bird's eye maple, I believe they call it. It's a type of laminate veneer as well. And then this is, because this is not silk, this is that just plastic, or yeah, plastic. This was actually a piece of foliage from an aquarium plant, like a fake aquarium plant, and that's where this piece of foliage came from. So it's, because it's a little rougher, and then I've got one of those images printed on vellum here. I didn't want it to scratch, so I've just put a piece of tissue paper in between. And in the middle signature, I've got the one bead hanging off of it. This is just a little bunch of cards. Oh, this is going to be a little booklet. I'm going to turn it into a little booklet with a little spine, just sew it down the middle. I'll glue the pages together so that they're, when you open it up, it'll be, you know, tree to tree. And that will go in there once I get that done. This is a Elizabeth Craft Design die that I used in here, and it is, I believe it's her Planner Essentials, and I believe it's number 1740. I got it off of Pinterest, not Pinterest, pardon me. I got it off of Amazon. More of that eco-dyed paper. This is those little, I don't know what they're called, seed buds from Manitoba maple that I have in my yard. So I just picked them off, and then I laid them on a piece of paper, and then I distress sprayed on top of that. So it left some images of those seed pods behind, and then I glued other ones just kind of beside. Just, yeah. Another piece of that laminate veneer. And again, here I've done that picture on picture, same picture, small and large. And I turned this one into a little card kind of journal on. And then this was a piece of material again, and this was a ribbon or lace or whatever, I guess a piece of ribbon. This was, I believe this is a, yeah, this is a Bohemian Crafting just a little insert that I had made following one of Eva's tutorials. Again, it's not completely finished. I was going to make a few changes to it to fit this book more so, but that was the end of the second signature, and this is the last signature. There's that piece. This one is lace wood. The back of it, you can see this. It's, I don't know if you can notice, but it's very pretty. It's really, it glistens, and it's got this lacy look to it, and they call it lace wood. picture on picture. This one I just adhered to a piece of eco-dyed paper. There's a little tuck spot here. And just an old oak tree, and then I have a tuck spot there. I noticed when I look through this now that I distress everything, and I noticed I wasn't distressing the way I like to distress now, back when I did this, but that's all right. It's just these things I noticed. This is an image that came off of I think it was Die Cuts with a View had, I believe, a paper pack out, and I think it was called the Immortal. I think that's where this one came from, this image. But I just loved the look of the moon and the mist, or the sun and the mist coming through the forest. These are just little different images of graphics, I should say, of trees that I got off of Pinterest, and then I just printed them off of my this little printer, Faux Memo. It's just a little printer, and it only prints in black and white, but they have what do you call it? It can print black on white or black on clear, and this is on the clear. There's some of the moss and some of that other type of fungus. And again, this picture, I think this image is one of those Victoria Designs ones. There's some more. This, I believe, is cherry wood veneer. Just an envelope. This is a envelope that I had done based on a tutorial by Eva with Bohemian Crafting as well. I want to make a bunch more of these. I absolutely love them. And of course we had to do something with some fall leaves. This was a Bohemian Crafting little insert as well. So it's just a little envelope thing that you can journal on as well if you'd like, or tuck spot for different things. I guess I could have done that after. And there's just a tuck spot under there. There's a couple of tags in here. This is a piece of ebony, this dark, really dark piece. This is actually a paper bag, so it, you know, you can put a whole bunch of stuff in it. Another picture-on-picture idea. There's a flip here, more room for journaling. Another one of Eva Zitkova's or Bohemian Craftings. Tuck spot. I think this last few papers I really haven't finished, or pages. Maybe a few empty spots, but more laminate, more material. Little tuck spot. Little tuck spot in here, I think, and here. So just a little thing can go in here and here. I really don't want those in there, but I guess I can leave them for now. I'm gonna remove those, I think. And then these two will be on the, I'll do something with these two. I haven't done it yet. That's the end of it. I've got to cover this so that you don't see the glue that dried on there. So that's my Forest Lore journal. And it is a big one, but so I hope you enjoyed.